वनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रीला हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। All glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devidasi from Texas, welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sangha conference call. I thank all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name, which are to be avoided, written by Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not to have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Let us move on to our next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before that, may I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Lincoln.
Hare Krishna, Indulekha Karna Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your sweet association every day. All glories to your wonderful services. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vrindas Mother, and Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada celebrate Vijay.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and chanting so beautifully. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to somebody. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining. Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your assistance every day. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome, Mataji. Mataji, your voice is breaking. Indi Mataji, can you try muting her, Mataji? Microphone is not getting muted from my side. Yeah.
It's
Hare-
my Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. This is Komiti Kirasi from Baltimore. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all the devotees. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Komadiki Mataji. Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and chanting so beautifully. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Today I can do the greeting.
Sure, Mataji, definitely. I was about to ask you. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
But the thing is, I don't have any printout.
That's okay. I will send you the paper. You can read from there, and I will also send you proper code for today. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. Okay. Or else we'll start the recording and do the introduction of Prabhuji. Hare Krishna everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 2nd chapter, verses 17 to 21. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Tiffany Mataji, please take over from here and give a brief introduction. Haribol.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This morning, we're so fortunate to have with us His Grace Jayananda Gauranga Prabhuji. Prabhuji is the disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and he took initiation. He took to Krishna consciousness while at college in 1998. He did his undergraduate at BITS Palani, doctoral degree at Texas A&M, and postdoctoral work at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Jayananda Gauranga Prabhuji is a professor of obstetrics and gynecology in the U.S. He has been chanting 16 rounds for over 24 years. Prabhuji is very well versed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and has read Chaitanya Charitamrita over 50 times. He has been doing edifications of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam for Bhakti Vriksha. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the call, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. I now hand over the call to you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. You're able to see the screen, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you again for this opportunity. Thank you, Vinita Gandaraki Mataji, for asking me to come and speak this morning on this topic. The topic for this morning's verse is the power of destiny. And Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Dhirahi Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloki Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalagaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Purave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I offer my humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnavas assembled here. The verses for this morning are Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 2, verses 17 through 21. Hiranyakashipur Bratuhu Sampare Tasya Dukitaha Kritva Katodakadini Bhratar Putran Asandayat Shakunim Shambaram Drishtim Bhutasantapanam Vrakam Kalanabam Bahanabam Harishmashrum Matotkacham Tanmataram Rusabhanum Titim Cha Jananim Gira Slakshnaya Desha Kalagnya Idam Aha Janeshwaram. Shri Hiranyakashipu Vacha Ambambahe Vadu Putra Viram Marhata Sochitam Ripur Abhimukhe Slagyah Suranam Pada Ipsitah Bhutanam Iha Samvasah Prapayam Iva Subrate Daive Nektrena Nitanam Unnitanam Swakarma Bhi. Hiranyakashipu Bhratuhu. These are the brothers of Hiranyakashipu. Samparetasya Dukitaha Kritva Katodahakini Bhratar Putran Asanvayat. So he's trying to pacify his brothers here, his nephews, niece, and the sister-in-law's mother. So all their names are pretty much listed here. Shakuni, Shambaram, Drishtim, Bhuta Santapanam, Brakam, Kalanabam, Mahanabam, Harish Mashrum, Atod Kacham. So these are all names of all his different relatives. And then he's just so, and then if you see further, all these names, Rushabhanum, Diti's mother, Sir Jananim Gira, Slakshnaya, Deshakalagnya, Idam Maha Janeshwara. So he is, so these verses, verses 18, this is 17 is here. 18, 19 are all pretty much names of all the people whom Hiranyakashipu is addressing. And then he is basically telling them the cause of the cause of the suffering. So he is giving, and Hiranyakashipu is very knowledgeable, very erudite, and he's giving an explanation of why the suffering has occurred and trying to pacify him. He himself is upset. Let's now go through the translation. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai. Verse 17. After performing the ritualistic observances for the death of his brother, Hiranyakashipu, being extremely unhappy, tried to pacify his nephews. Verses 18 through 19. O king, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. But since he was a great politician, he knew how to act. According to the time and the situation. With sweet words, he began pacifying his nephews, whose names were Shakuni, Shambara, Drishti, Bhuta Santapana, Vrika, Kalanaba, Mahanaba, Harimashru, Utkacha. He also consoled their mother, his sister-in-law, Rishabhanu, as well as his own mother, Diti. He spoke to them as follows. Hiranyakashipu said, "My dear mother, sister-in-law, and nephews, you should not lament for the death of the great hero, for a hero's death in front of his enemy is glorious and desirable. My dear mother, in a restaurant or a place for drinking cold water, many travelers are brought together, and after drinking water, they continue to their respective destinations. Similarly, living entities join together in a family, and later, as a result of their own actions, they are led apart to their destinations." These are really very learned words, and there is purport only for verse 21. Prakriti kriyamanani, gune karmani sarvashara, ahankara vimuratma, kartaha miti manyati. The bewildered soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself the doer of the activities which are in actuality carried out by the nature. Bhagavad Gita 3.27. All living entities act according to the directions of Prakriti, material nature, because in the material world we are fully under a higher control. All the living entities in the material world have come here only because they wanted to be equal to Krishna in enjoyment and have thus been sent here to be conditioned by material nature in different degrees. In the material world, a so-called family is a combination of several persons in one home to fulfill the terms of their imprisonment. As criminal prisoners scatter as soon as their terms are over and they're released, all of us who have temporarily assembled as family members will continue to our respective destinations. Another example given is that the family members are like straws carried together by the waves of a river. Sometimes such straws mix together in whirlpools and later dispersed again by the same waves. They float alone in the water. Although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he had Vedic knowledge and understanding. Thus, the advice given to his family members, his sister-in-law, mother, and nephews was quite sound. The demons are considered highly elevated in knowledge, but because they do not use their good intelligence for the service of the Lord, they are called demons. The demigods, however, act very intelligently to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.13 as follows. Atha pumbir vijashreshta varnashtamare bhagasha swanishtishthaya dharmasya samsiddhir haridoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties according to the caste divisions and orders of life is to please Lord Hari. To become a demigod or to become godly, whatever one's occupation, one must satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this here, Hiranyakashipu is speaking learned words, and Prabhupada is acknowledging that in the purport here. Even though such intelligence has not been used in the service of the Godhead, but they are very knowledgeable. And he explains here some of the things that we note here about family, what we think is family. And it's very notable here in the purport that Prabhupada is saying here that the family members are like straws. Okay, so like waves, they carry some straws together, and some of the straws come together. We think it's a family. Again, as time moves on, another wave comes and the straws get separate, and the straws go and collate with a new set of straws and then forms a new family. So in the same way, the second analogy given here is about the prisoner. So the prisoners, they are kept in prison with certain cellmates, but as their term is over, they are sent away and then they go and mix with new prisoners. So we can see here that Hiranyakashipu is talking here about the power of destiny. So I'm having a bit of cough today, so sometimes I'll just mute it for a second as the cough might be disturbing the lecture. So apologize for the inconvenience. So what I have done is to substantiate the Hiranyakashipu's points here of how he's trying to pacify his relatives. I have put several evidences from scriptures and from quotes from Prabhupada to explain the power of destiny. So as we journey through this proofs about the power of destiny, I would appreciate if you could hold on to about the free will, which I will cover in the last 2 slides. So this is the first pramana I've taken here. Srila Prabhupada's lecture on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela 20.107. The lecture was given in New York, July 13, 1976. So therefore, sometimes the Indians are accused that they believe in destiny. But that is actual fact. And this is directly taken from that purport, from that lecture. You cannot improve a single inch than you are destined. That is not possible. That is not possible. If you want to increase your so-called happiness, then you simply waste your time. This is Prahlad Maharaj's instruction. Na tat prayasam kartavyam. I am not in a good position economically. Let me try to improve it. That you cannot. Otherwise, in New York City, so opulent, so materially advanced, why we see so many men in the Central Park lying on the bench? Why? They do not belong to a poor nation or a poor city. Still, because he's destined, he must lie down there. Maybe he's a rich man's son or born in a rich nation, but because he's destined to suffer, he must lie down there. Because he's destined to suffer, he must become a hippie. So you cannot stop it. You cannot stop it. That is not possible. Therefore, those who are advanced in knowledge, they do not try for all these nonsense, improving material condition. So the substance of this is, it is not possible to improve one's material situation by different material efforts. So Prabhupada is saying that it doesn't make any sense to improve one's material condition, because one is destined to suffer what they have to they have to undergo. Let's take the second pramana here. This is the power of destiny, second validation here. His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada's conversation transcript from Feb 6, 1974 in Vrindavan, where Prabhupada says, destiny is very strong. Everyone is bound up by the resultant action of his karma. It cannot be changed. So Shastra says, don't try to change your karma phala. Better utilize that energy for becoming advanced in Krishna consciousness. What does that mean? It means that if someone is suffering, rather than trying to improve that condition by decreasing the suffering, it's better to use that suffering as an opportunity to advance in Krishna consciousness. Because you cannot change destiny. That is not possible. Then shall I not endeavor for improvement for my economic position? No. Why? I am, because destiny, whatever you have got, your destiny, you will get it. So no matter how much one tries to improve one's economic situation, one cannot improve it a bit more than what one is destined to get. This is per this conversation of Srila Prabhupada. So that means like this thing usually comes people, especially when there is suffering, when there is money problems, and suffering from various things, whether it's from other living entities, self-inflicted, or various things that one is destined to get. Prabhupada is saying here that there is no point trying to change that material situation. So if we are in the midst of an ocean, the waves keep on coming, the waves of suffering keep on coming, and there is no way by which we can try to prevent that wave from coming. So, however, he's giving the hint here that even in such, when absorbed in the material energy, one can still advance through Krishna consciousness. That is something that we can always try to utilize that suffering, just as how Kunti Devi did, to utilize the suffering to advance in Krishna consciousness. Let's go for Pramana number 3. The power of destiny, third premise. This is from Bhakti Sandarbha 6.204.7. The translation I got from the Rupanuga Vedic College. The Bhagavatam gives the fact that the living entities are placed by destiny in a variety of situations in this world as the evidence of the Supreme Lord's existence. So Jiva Goswami says that the fact that the living entities are placed in different variety of situations by destiny also points to the evidence of the existence of the personality of Godhead. Because above this destiny, there is the Godhead. So the presence of this the presence of destiny by itself does not show that destiny is the all-controlling thing, but beyond destiny, the destiny itself is under the control of the personality of Godhead. This, the Jiva Goswami concludes in the Bhakti Sandarbha. So we are just trying to understand various aspects of destiny through all these pramana. So even though they explain about the power of destiny, we also get hints of various other things. Like for instance, in the previous verse, we got a hint about using this material suffering in Krishna consciousness. And in this, we get that the presence of destiny itself is an evidence for the existence of the personality of Godhead. Four, The power of destiny, fourth pramana. This is taken from Hari Shauri Prabhu's diary. Morning walk conversation with Srila Prabhupada on September 4th, 1976, based on Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.5, where Prabhupada says this in the conversation, specifically to his reply to the second question, which asks if a man can change his destiny by progress. He emphasized that destiny cannot be changed, giving the example that a pig must eat stew, and the scientists cannot change this by so-called progress. No matter what we call as progress, that progress is would not be able to change the various sufferings and happiness that we are about to get as a matter of destiny. So here is the another aspect for this destiny, that by so-called material progress. So basically what this says is, by material endeavors, one cannot change destiny. One cannot change what one is supposed to get through material endeavors. But we did get hint from the previous pramana that we can still use it in Krishna consciousness. And so with every one of these pramana, we get a new aspect of this destiny. So that means just by material progress, one cannot endeavor to change what one has to. The example that he's giving here is, if a pig must eat stew, that just cannot be changed. That's their mold of material nature in which they are, that makes them perform that act. Okay, that is what is acting here. The power of destiny, pramana number 5. This is a famous verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1, verse 19. This is the thing about the elephant. Maharaj Parikshit said, the purport corresponds to this particular thing. Prayas chittam atokatham. Maharaj Parikshit said, one may know that sinful activity is injurious for him because he actually sees that a criminal is punished by the government and rebuked by people in general, and because he hears from scriptures and learned scholars that one is thrown into hellish conditions in the next life for committing sinful acts. Nevertheless, in spite of this knowledge, one is forced to commit sins again and again, even after performing acts of atonement. Therefore, what is the value of such atonement? So this is something where we usually seek divine intervention as part of what is called as prayaschita, which is usually offered even in astrological treatises, and the Shastra called as Jyotisha, which gives even by material endeavors, even though one cannot change the path of destiny, the various things offered by destiny, one seeks divine intervention, various devas, devatas, and then ultimately sanctioned by the personality of Godhead, and they do what is called as atonement, prayaschita, to correct some of these effects that they are facing. But Maharaj Parikshit is asking here, like, still, what is the use? Because even then, this is something like the elephant. When the elephant gets into the water, it takes the bath in the river, it comes and then takes the mud and puts it on top of itself. In the same way, all these atonements are of practically no value, because the living entity is going to continue to do the same thing again and again. Therefore, even whether by yourself you get to know that a certain thing is not an activity which is sanctioned and doubting with Krishna, and then number 2, by the good advice of the others, okay, and the government, you still don't try to correct your behavior. And then number 3, by reading scriptures, you still don't try to correct your behavior. Therefore, what is the use? You're still, no matter what atonement you do, you're still going to, some people do different kinds of atonement. In some of the faiths, there are different kinds of atonements that are prescribed. But at the end, what will happen is, at the end of the atonement, you will get the reactions for that atonement. On top of it, you're still going to get all the reactions that you were even destined to get. And therefore, let's say that there was once a person, okay, so he said, okay, I'm going to go sit on top of a rock, okay, a rock mountain, and then under the sun, and I'm going to undergo atonement for the various sinful activities that I've performed. Now, but what is going to remain at the end of such unauthorized atonements? The person will end up getting heat stroke, or the person would be suffering from intense lack of intense dehydration, thirst, and hunger. On top of it, when the person comes back from that atonement, the person is going to continue to face the different sufferings imposed by the destiny. And therefore, but even if there is an atonement which is propitiating the different devatas, even those atonements at the end, it is of no value, because the person is going to continue to do the same sinful activities again and again for this purpose. And this thing about the elephant going into the river, coming back and putting the mud back on itself. This is pramana number 5, a different aspect for to understand the power of destiny. The power of destiny, number 6. Okay, this is the 6th pramana. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7. That is the canto that we are in, chapter 6, verse number 3. Shukam Indriyakam Daitya Deha Yogena Dehinam Sarvatra Labhyate Daivad Yatha Dukham Ayantagataha. So, in this material, that I have taken this from the purport, in this material world, in any form of life, there is some so-called happiness and some so-called distress. No one invites distress in order to suffer, but still it comes. Exception is like Kunti Devi, who is inviting suffering because that is a Krishna conscious activity taken in free will. Similarly, even if we do not endeavor to obtain advantages of material happiness, we shall obtain them automatically. So it's not like we go and struggle so much to get happiness. It's not because of that we are getting happiness. If we are destined to get happiness, we're going to get it anyway. So this happiness and distress are obtainable in any form of life without endeavor. Whether one is a dog, cat, human being, it doesn't matter. In any form of life, this is possible. Thus, there is no need to waste time and energy fighting against distress or working very hard for happiness. So Prabhupada is saying that these kind of material endeavor, we can understand this also from Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam, where it says about excess material endeavor. Our only business in this human form of life is to revive our relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and thus become qualified to return back home. Back to Godhead. Material happiness and distress come as soon as we accept a material body, regardless of what form. We cannot avoid such happiness and distress under any circumstances. The best use of human life, therefore, lies in reviving a relationship with the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So, as long as if we dovetail all our activities to revive our relationship with Vishnu, then that activities, it becomes fruitful. But then any other material endeavor which is doing so hard to get happiness and happiness and to avoid distress is ultimately useless, because these are going to come automatically. So this is another aspect of this power of destiny. It's going to come automatically. We don't have to go endeavor to get just as how we don't go endeavor to get suffering, we also don't need to go endeavor to get happiness, because just as how suffering is coming on its own, the happiness will also come on its own. Whatever we are destined to get based on our prior activities in the previous lives, we're going to get it anyway. Pramana number 7. This is a famous verse. This is everybody knows this one. This is the verse. So this verse, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18, is frequently cited. Tasyeva hetu bhayateda govidam. So the translation here is, as far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. So this one is adding further to the previous 7th canto verse, which I just put. The purport, I've cited the last few lines here. Similarly, everyone has his distant happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. So by personal endeavors, we cannot try to improve our situation. It's not going to improve personal material endeavors. Even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. One should not, therefore, waste time with these flimsy things. One should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life. So if we put excessive effort to get happiness or to avoid suffering, it is not of much use, because by chance, let's say that even if you get it, it's going to be at lost again. Even then, it's going to be temporary, and then what is the use? So if you look at it from any perspective, even if you don't believe that it comes automatically, it's going to get lost anyway. Anything that is not permanent is not going to give you happiness. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.18, okay, the famous verse. Pramana number 8. This is the Power of Destiny 8, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.2.40. So this is in the same canto, same chapter. It's just going to come in a few verses afterwards, 40. So, Pati Chittam Tishtati Dishtarakshita. So this is a famous thing which says, Srimad Bhagavatam canto 7, 2.40. Sometimes one loses his money on a public street, where everyone can see it, and yet his money is protected by destiny and not seen by others. So let's say that somebody loses the cash somewhere on the road. But by destiny, if that person is not supposed to lose the cash, no matter how, whether, where, in what situation the person lost, nobody's going to take it, and the cash will just lie there. And for the person, okay, so this is Pati, this is the road. Pati Chutam Tishtati Dishtarakshitam. Okay, so it is going to be Raksha, it's going to be protected there. It's going to be protected on the road. Path is road. So on the road, it's just going to stay protected. Okay, even though everybody can see it, they won't take it. That is an example. This is directly from the translation, Srimad Bhagavatam 7.2.40, where it is said that because of destiny, if something has to be protected, it will be protected. Okay, so however, even in the corollary to this is, even if somebody places something in the most safest location, and if something has to be lost, it will be lost. Power of Destiny 9. Okay, this is Pramana number 9, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 36, verse 39. Manoratan karoti uchcher jano deva hatan api. Deva. So this is what is telling the various the divine aspects are working on it. An ordinary person is determined to act on his desires even when fate prevents their fulfillment. So they are trying, even if somebody is trying to act according to their desires, but fate is trying to prevent their fulfillment. Okay, so that means that this is in analogy to the main thing that man proposes, God disposes. So in the same way, even though one is trying to act, is trying to propose various things, but fate prevents their fulfillment. The Power of Destiny 10. This is Pramana number 10. Canto 8, chapter 19, verse 19, verse 25. Kumshoyam samsrate hetur. Hetur is the cause. Okay, they are trying to find out what is the cause of this. Asantosho artha kamayo. Okay, that is the word. What is the hetu? What is the cause? Material existence causes discontent in regarding to fulfilling one's lusty desires and achieving more and more money. this is the cause for the continuation of material life. One is constantly trying to artha kamayo. So artha, economic development, one is constantly trying to continue to get more and more, which is full of repeated birth and death. But one who's satisfied by that which is obtained by destiny is fit for liberation from this material existence. Okay, so whatever the destiny gives us, if we are satisfied with it and not try to endeavor to get something, then that person is fit for liberation. Such a person is self-satisfied. Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kamshati. At that time, they are fit for liberation. Mad bhakti nabate param. At that time, Krishna bhakti will start. And therefore, material existence. So one is trying to constantly improve one's material situation by different endeavors. But if whatever the destiny gives us, if we are satisfied with it, it doesn't matter what it gives. If you're satisfied with it, then by such a person is said to be fit for liberation. Such a person is self-satisfied. He is Atmarama. Okay, and then he can pursue Krishna consciousness. Atmarama Munayo, and towards the very attractive Hari, Urukrama Hari. The power of destiny, 11. This is Pramana number 11. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 4, verse 5. Tvaya Divani Srishtena. So what does this mean is that, my dear brother, by the influence of destiny, you have already killed many babies. This is Devaki. Mother Devaki is addressing her brother Kamsa, each of them as bright and beautiful as fire. But kindly spare this daughter. Give her to me as your gift. This is also an expert way of speaking too, because it's saying that Kamsa, she's not putting the blame on Kamsa that he has finished all the other babies, but she, by the influence of destiny, you have killed so many babies. So she's putting the blame on destiny. Nevertheless, it is true too. But in the case here, it is also, you can also say that these are also pastimes of Krishna. So there are multiple things here, but Devaki says that this is influence of destiny. So purport, Devaki knew very well that because the killing of her many children had been ordained by destiny, Kamsa was not to be blamed. Okay, so don't blame yourself anymore, but now at least use your independence, the minute independence that you have, and act with proper judgment, and do not keep misusing your free will under the influence of the destiny. Okay, so this is Pramana. Deva, okay, that is the thing here. Under Deva means under the influence of destiny. Power of Destiny 12. This is Pramana number 12, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, verse 30 and 31. I just took this thing along Charan Vindati Yadishtam, the word Dishtam. Okay, so according to his destiny, he sometimes receives punishment and is driven out, and at other times receives a little food to eat. So what is destiny doing here? Sometimes the person receives punishment, sometimes the person is just driven out, and sometimes receives very little food to eat. Similarly, the living entity being influenced by so many desires wanders in different species of life according to destiny. So the destiny forces one to go into different aspects, different forms of life, influenced by the desires. Power of Destiny 13. Pramana number 13, Srimad Bhagavatam. This is from the purport of Canto 9, Chapter 9, verse 33. As one is put into distress by destiny, destiny can also put one in a happy situation. Whenever, now at this time, all the planets are aligned, the destiny is extremely strong, but one can change destiny if one comes to the platform of Krishna consciousness. So here is the other aspect of destiny, of how destiny can be changed by not by material endeavors, but using one's eternally existing free will. By coming to the platform of Krishna consciousness, one can change destiny. At that time, nothing will affect them. Even if something happens, nothing is going to affect them. Karmani nirdati kintu cha bhakti bhajam. Brahma Samhita 5.34. Okay, so that by using one's free will, not by doing various material endeavors, but by coming to the platform of Krishna Bhakti, one can change one's destiny. One can change one's destiny. So even though the insurpassable material destiny cannot be changed by one's material endeavors, and one is under the stringent grip of the material nature, but by using one's free will in Krishna Bhakti, one can always change one's destiny. Okay, that is another aspect of destiny in 9.9.33. The power of destiny 14. Srimad Bhagavatam, Pramana number 14, from purport of Canto 1, chapter 5, verse 18. This is the same Taseva Heto Prayatita Kovido, but it is telling different aspect of the same destiny. So I've picked it up as a different Pramana here. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Just by personal endeavors, material endeavors, it is not possible to change the quota of happiness and distress that one is about to get. The power of destiny 15. Okay, Pramana number 15. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. Noonam hi adrishta nishtoyam adrishta paramo janaha. So, Srimad Bhagavatam, translation 10.5.30. You can see this word here. Every man is certainly controlled by destiny. So the word destiny is actually mentioned twice here. Controlled by destiny, which determines the results of one's fruitive activities. In other words, one has a son or daughter because of unseen destiny. Just because that one has a son, or one has a daughter, or one has neither, or one has both, all these things are determined by destiny, what one has, and when, and what. And even though this destiny is not seen, but it is there, by this unseen destiny, it is there. And when the son or daughter is no longer present, this is also to be seen by that unseen destiny. So all these things are controlled by destiny, is the ultimate controller for everyone. Of course, in this context it is said, but the destiny itself is controlled by Krishna. One who knows this is never bewildered. So if one understands that they are not the reason for the action, but it is the destiny, then that is the reason why Prabhupada is citing here that one who knows this is never bewildered. So just because if one has a son or daughter, that is also by destiny. If they don't have somebody, that is also by destiny. And by such changes, one is not bewildered. Pramana number 16. This is the Pramana from the Bhagavad Gita, translation 3.5. Naikaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. So this is the verse. Sarvaha prakriti jay guneha. So it talks about the prakriti guna, the modes of material nature here. Everyone is forced to act helplessly. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. So there is a helpless action. Even if they, by material endeavor, even so hard try to change, but they're unable to change. Okay, this is 3.5. But then I will give the two verses for destiny and free will in the Bhagavad Gita. There is one verse which is classically cited for destiny and one verse cited for free will. This is Pramana number 17. This is the verse on destiny. Okay, if someone asks us what is the verse for destiny in Bhagavad Gita, this is the verse. And the next verse after this is the verse on free will. So Krishna gives the destiny and the free will verse one after the other. The destiny verses Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvashaka Ankarabi Mudatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. The spirit soul bewildered by the influence of false ego thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried by the three modes of material nature. The three modes of the material nature are carrying out the nature, but the person thinks by the influence of the false ego, Ahankara Vimudhatma, Prakrite Kriyamanan. So this is the verse on destiny. This is Pramana number 17. The next one, even though I have put this as power of destiny 18, but this is the verse on free will. So the destiny and free will verse are placed one next to each other in the Bhagavad Gita. This verse is Tattva Vittu Mahabaho Gunakarma Vibhagayo. So this is the verse on Unaguneshu vartanta iti matva na sanjate. One who is in knowledge of the absolute truth, Almighty armed, does not engage himself in the senses and sense gratification. So here is the free will. So in knowledge of the absolute truth, okay, does not engage himself in the sense. So here is the free will. Ability for free will is mentioned in the very next verse. Knowing well the differences between work and devotion and work and fruit of results. So that is in Krishna. Work in Krishna consciousness immediately becomes execution of one's free will. As long as one is working under the stringent grip of material nature, one is fully under the control of destiny. But as soon as one starts working in devotion and Krishna consciousness, then one is pursuing, not by destiny, but by one is pursuing by one's execution of one's free will. So a summary message, 3.27 verses on destiny. The very next verse is on free will, how one can execute their free will. And this is a quote on from Srila Prabhupada. After all these things about destiny, one should now understand a little about free will. Before I cite this, Srila Prabhupada said, this is in August 5th, 1976 in New Mayapur, France. Srila Prabhupada said, if you have no free will, then you are a stone. Because the same kinds of things are being also inflicted to a stone, but the stone is just staying there as it is. The stone has no free will. Do you want to be a stone? Then you must have. So Prabhupada saying that all of us have free will eternally, but don't misuse your free will. But don't try to become a stone either. Okay, that is not life. So here is a pramana to show that we have free will, which is eternally there, even though minute, it is still there eternally. And we have to use this free will in Krishna consciousness to do the duties in Krishna consciousness. And the summary of all what I have said so far is in this light. And this is my last slide. The living being, I've taken this as a summary of all what we have said so far. The living being eternally possesses the free will to either serve Krishna or Maya. When he opts for Maya, he remains stringently under the grip of Maya until one uses his free will to decide that he wants to no longer be captive of Maya, that he now wants to return to his liberated position as an eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord in his divine pastimes in the spiritual sky. Therefore, the free will, because Krishna is independent, the living entity being part and parcel of Krishna eternally possesses this minute free will to always have this choice, whether to perform the duties in Krishna consciousness, that is serve Krishna, dovetail to Krishna, or to be under, or to serve Maya. And when the person opts Maya, then they come under the prison, under the stringent grips of Maya, under various rules and regulations placed by Maya. And at any moment, one can use the free will to decide that they no longer want to be captive of this Maya. They don't want to be under the stringent grips of the Maya, but one wants to be return to the liberated position. And what is the liberated position? That is eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. That is our constitutional nature in the divine pastimes, in the spiritual sky of Vaikuntha. So this is the sum and substance of all what we covered so far in this session. So I once again really apologize for my cough. I had to mute it quite now and then. I'm going to stop here. I just have time only for like one or two discussion points here. Again, offer my humble obeisances and thanks to Vinita Gandharva for asking me to come here and share this presentation with the stalwart Vaishnavas who are here this morning. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a beautiful presentation, helping us to understand how the power of destiny works, what is free will, and how we can escape from all of this is just to surrender to Krishna and always be in Krishna consciousness. Very beautifully explained from different purports, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. I open forum for the question and answers, and we only have a couple of questions maybe only taken. Priti Vilasni Mataji, please go ahead with your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. It was a beautiful compilation of all the verses about destiny, and definitely clears out a lot of questions that we have always had. So if I can summarize this please let me know if the understanding is correct based on all that you have quoted. So basically, we all are driven by destiny, and destiny is very difficult to change. One way of altering destiny is by prayers to demigods, but then demigods can give boons, of course, meaning like they can change destiny, is what I understand. But however, the seed is not vanquished, meaning the seed to do the, like you were mentioning in the beginning of sixth canto before the Ajamal story. So basically, the inclination to do the sin is not removed. So bhakti is the only way to even remove that inclination. So at the end of the day, this is what I understand: destiny cannot be changed. You're destined to get what you want. Yes, you can change it by with the help of demigods, but then your inclination wouldn't change. So you would just worship the Supreme Lord. But then you just worship the Supreme Lord, and by worshiping the Supreme Lord, um, you, it appears that basically your consciousness changes so much that irrespective of what your destiny is, you choose to respond differently, meaning it doesn't affect you anymore. That is what ultimately happens, right? When you start worshipping the Supreme Lord and you get involved in Krishna consciousness, it's not that the destiny per se is changing, but the way you tune your consciousness completely changes, so Maya doesn't affect you. Is this overall understanding the essence of what you said, or am I totally offset?
You have a very nice. First, I want to appreciate your nice summary of various things, Mataji. Pretty much what all you said is everything is fine. Just one small point at the end and one addition. Towards the end, when you said that it is also correct what you said with reference to when one is in Krishna consciousness, if one is in a liberated state, at that time, no matter who cares what the destiny is, because one is not in that platform to even respond to that destiny the way it is, right? So at that time, so that is correct. But at the same time, Krishna can also change destiny. So even if one is destined to get something, by Krishna consciousness, destiny can also be changed. If they by atonement, if the devatas under the ultimate control of the Supreme God can change destiny, why can't the Supreme Lord change?
Yes, Prabhu, that makes perfect sense.
So
But
destiny can, but the devotees don't endeavor all those things. But the Supreme Lord can. So that is why we say sometimes, like when the suffering, sometimes when a pure devotee gets, it's only a minuscule of what that person is supposed to get, because Krishna has already reduced it to a level that the person can take. Right? So that is one aspect. But the last aspect, which I still want to add here, which the rest all you summarized it, and is that every moment we have the free will to choose Krishna and perform the activities in a Krishna, like normal material activity. Let's say that I am cooking. Okay, if I'm destined to cook, okay, that is under the grips of Maya. But the same cooking can be done for the service of Krishna, then it becomes by free will. And one is then no more controlled by material nature. And then the cooking, the entire acts of cooking, everything becomes free will, and a very nice interaction of exhibition of free will in service of Krishna.
Very nice, very, very nice. Yes, Prabhu, this makes sense. And to add on to the point that yes, Krishna also changes destiny. Yes, and that also makes sense to me. So if it is going to help the devotee to continue Krishna consciousness favorably, he would change destiny. Else, he would just let it be, right?
Yes, Krishna will minutely handle all these things for the devotees. Those who are he's in that sense he's partial, and he will minutely handle it. And so all we have to do is just forget about all this destiny and just put ourselves completely under the protection of Krishna, and then Krishna will handle everything. I mean, he's not an order carrier, right? But so at the same time, we just let it go. And then Krishna will handle it, and whatever comes. See, there are two ways to take it. A materialist, okay, so whether they acknowledge it or not, the destiny is putting them under the situation. But the devotees don't take that destiny is putting it under theirs, putting it for them. They will take it as if it is something bad, Okay, then because of my past activities and so on, it is done. If it is something good happening to them, they will take it as Krishna has put us in that situation, and Krishna has already reduced that destiny, whatever destiny is placed to us, has made it very minuscule. Everywhere they see Krishna's hand in it.
Makes sense, yeah. Yeah, definitely, yes, Prabhu. Krishna makes everything, the mountain, like a small speck of dirt, right? Like the mountain of problems, yeah, that is right.
Yeah. So putting this extreme power to destiny, that is Hiranyakashipu's perspective, and it is true. Whatever Hiranyakashipu is saying is true. Hiranyakashipu would say that, but a devotee is not giving all that importance to destiny and saying that, okay, everything is under the control. But devotee understands that beyond all this destiny, there is Krishna, and Krishna will control us, not destiny. We are not. We do not want to be like super afraid of destiny. The destiny is going to do everything. Krishna will take care of us.
Yes, Prabhu, that is right. Yeah, yeah. Thank you for the clarification, but very nicely put together.
Thank you.
Thank
Hare Krishna. Can just do one more question, Mataji? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Is there anybody having any more question? I don't see any question, but in the chat, Tiffany Mataji was saying very good class. And thank you, Prabhuji, and thank you, Priti Vilasni Mataji, for your nice discussion. It helped us understand even more better with the discussion. Thank you, Mataji. And thank you, Prabhu, once again. I don't want it to take your more time, as there are no more questions. We can end the call here. I would like to offer my obeisances to Prabhuji and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyo chapatitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo
namaha.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Koti
Srila
koti dandavat
Prabhupada
pranam.
ki
Hare
jai.
Krishna.
Sri Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu ji ki jai.
Yay. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Prabhuji. It was a
Prabhuji.
beautiful class.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So
Hare
grateful for your association.
Radhe Radhe.
See you again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji.
Today no parikrama because Prabhuji in Vrindavan is very, very busy doing Vardhan parikrama over there today. So because of that, we don't have parikrama as Prabhuji announced yesterday. Sorry for that. And we'll close the call today. Indu Mataji.